All right, welcome to Self. Sorry for the delay. I don't know where my headphones are. So I ended up having to get some new ones. I got them. They came in last night. And now this is our first recording since having uh, the new microphones. So I'm going to test this out on my walk to the gym today. And so it's probably been 2, 3 weeks. Today's November 8th, 2025. It's 2 days before my 37th birthday, the big 37. And then I don't have any plans right now for my actual birthday. I'm going to a K Tronada concert on the 9th, and that'll carry over into the 10th. And I don't know, I think what feels most important to me right now is speaking out and talking through, I guess, just where I'm at and how I've changed. I think that I know that one of the big things that I'm working on is living my dream. I do believe that this waking, walking life is not really representative of what we really are. Um, there's that saying, sleep is a cousin of death. And why is it that when we sleep, we dream? So if they're so closely related, when we die, like, is that a dream? Is this the dream? I've been having a lot of synchronicity moments with just talking, not directly 100% like this, but enough of a way where people, I'll invite them into this. Like, I'll ask, hey, are you spiritual? Like, what do you believe? So that I can say things in a way where I at least tie it together and what my current understanding is of what other people got going on in their life or what they believe, what they think, and language that might not turn them off necessarily. So, with my yoga therapy clients, uh, something that has come up a couple of times actually is speaking to the raw material of labels. And the raw material of labels is really, instead of saying things like, I want to be in a relationship. All right, now that means something to you where it might mean something different to me. And then asking, okay, well, what does being in a relationship feel like? What's the kind of person that you want to be in a relationship with? Who are they? What are they doing? And the conversation will often eventually drill down to, I don't know what I want. But to get there, I ask people, what do you want out of a relationship? And, use safety, for example. For a woman who dates men, if you tell a man that you want to feel safe, he might look at safety as, I'll defend your honor. Nobody will disrespect you. Um, if something happens, then that makes you feel unsafe. I'll ensure physical safety. Whereas the woman wants emotional safety, and this is inclusive to protection against the potential harms that can come from just being not considered or for um, not, I don't want to, yeah, I guess not prioritizing emotional safety. But if he doesn't know that, then how can he know? Hey, good morning. If he doesn't know that, then how can he know that that's what it is that you're asking for, what you need? So when I talk about the raw material of what labels are, think about deconstructing the ideas behind whatever label it is that we use. Even with straight, what are the raw materials of being straight? What's the raw material of being a man or a woman? What's the raw material of respect? And people say communication. I want a good communicator. All right, so I've been over communicative to people, And that over transparency has gotten me in far more trouble than lack of transparency. And people say they want honesty, but I don't know that that's the case, because even then, without a willingness, and this is something that I've sort of forgotten for myself too, I've forgotten how important it is uh, to take willingness into consideration. And when I say willingness, I mean a willingness to understand, a willingness to engage. Are you willing to participate in the relationship beyond whatever your comforts are? Are you willing to participate in life beyond whatever your comforts are? Because far too often I found myself in situations with people who have not been willing to communicate through what it is that their expectations are. And a lot of this, I think, really boils down to uh, assumptions, assuming that, okay, because this is what a casual relationship is, these are the expectations. And I don't work like that. And I think, people have been throwing around this term neurodivergent and shit like that. But what if we just need support and understanding each other? Because I don't understand every fucking person. I used to say this thing. People be like, oh, here's what you got to do to understand women. And that shit don't apply to everybody. And so rather than trying to understand women, you understand your woman, and you see how irrelevant it is that you understand women. And that process even fucking got me in trouble. But even then, uh, like every person is an individual. And in the individual, since there's however many fucking billion people on the earth, and each of us has a different experience with the word. So while we may have a universal objective definition for what red is, there's how many shades of red? How often is red mistaken for orange, yellow, or purple, or even blue? And these are just colors. So looking at the labels of what it implies about your identity or their own identity, there are unique experiences and expressions of and with these particular labels. So when we think about, or when I think about the raw material of things, I'm thinking about the raw material of myself. And we got this whole thing that's called Courtney Warren Brain, about to be 36 years old, black man, heterosexual, uh, podcaster, public speaker, yoga therapist in training, uh, brother, uncle, cousin, son. All of these different labels mean different things to different people. I'm an oldest son. I'm a firstborn. I'm an older brother. I'm technically an only child to my parents because I'm their only child together. And there's all of these individual factors that make up what my experience is, even with a word like family. Because growing up, I lived with my mom and I lived with my grandfather, and I saw my dad on weekends. My little brothers, two of my brothers lived there, and then eventually I got a little sister, and eventually I got another little brother from my mom. So that's what my family looked like. So to someone who has or has had both parents and lived with both parents in the home, family looks different to them. And the way that they were raised, because the raw material that made up the label of family for them is going to be significantly different than the raw material that made up family for me, because that was my normal. People around me, we all saw our dads on weekends. That shit wasn't that wasn't a one-off. What was not normal was when I got to high school, and when I got at high school and stayed at my friend's house, and they had both parents, it was like, yo, this is possible. So when he said, "Hey, y'all come over to my place," you know, you think you think about his family. Like, oh, okay, well, he probably lives with his mom. And you see a dad there, you're like, whoa, that's crazy. And this has been a very common experience for me, it's been a common experience to have had interactions or experiences with people that are different or different in some capacity, and then learning how y'all see labels, how y'all see the world or parts of the world so differently, and the events of the world. And I'm still talking that atom shit, that protons, neutrons, electrons business. I'm still having that. And in those conversations, what we're finding is that the electrons being infinite potential or, negative experiences, negative ain't bad. I got a lot of fucking electrons surrounding my orbit that, as I'm learning, are the raw material of potential. I hope I remember that, the raw material of potential. And work with me as I try and articulate this. But when we understand the raw material, it's almost like we get the source code of shit. Like in the Matrix, the green numbers that are going down the line, like the genetic coding of shit. We find what the raw material of the things are. And as we begin to place our time, energy, awareness, money, presence into those specific things, they have to take a physical form. As you begin to investigate, okay, I wake up and I do my best to spend my first 20 minutes of waking up in bed just trying to be quiet, just not engaging with other things. And in that, it's not me trying to draw my money, energy, attention, time to myself. It's really sitting with the stillness of what by default I am emotionally adding intensity to. So that emotional intensity is actually it's constantly happening as long as we live, as long as we breathe. What up, squirrel? Hey, squirrel. Hey, squirrel. This squirrel just got his mouth open. You got a nut in there? The squirrel just ran up like towards me and just looked shocked. Like if you can imagine a squirrel looking surprised, looking dead at you on the sidewalk, that's what just happened to me. So the raw material of potential. I'm reading more and listening to videos, watching these videos about atomic language, or I'm sorry, about quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and the laws of nature and the laws of quantum physics. And what you give attention to takes form. So I heard from Brok on God of War Ragnarok. He said, the nature of a thing is more important than the form of a thing. And I understand that so well, because having a relationship, okay, you're going to get the relationship that is reflective of where you are. And if your awareness is not in any way, shape, or form on who you are going to end up finding out what that is in your outside world. I believe that over the course of my relationship history, I've learned about myself and what does and does not work. And monogamous relationships do not work for me. And it's been for various reasons, right? I remember early on what reason that the monogamous relationship didn't work was because I wanted to have sex with other people. And then the monogamous relationship didn't work because the other person wanted to have sex with other people. And then the monogamous relationship didn't work because it was a matter of like, these are in nobody's words necessarily, but what I observed was the insecurity of her always thinking that people wanted to have sex with me. And I've been oblivious. Like, I'm just a happy, I do my best. No, I don't even do my best. It is effortless for me to just enjoy my life and be happy and smile and be pleasant to people, because that's what reflects the world around me. or that's what is a reflection of my inner world, because I have that. Like, there's times I go places, I get free shit just from like being me and coming in curious and being happy and smiling and shit at people. And if it's a woman, it's a fucking problem. But if it's a man, it's not a problem. But most of the time, it's not a man. You're like, there have been times where, um, in just being myself, I would get in trouble for that shit, and I'm navigating that now because the relationships that I have are so affirming of my identity now, beyond the polyamory thing. So I've always said I ain't polyamorous to just catch bodies. I'm polyamorous because the way that I connect with and relate to people, I don't know the fucking difference. Some people I have sex with, some people I don't have sex with. And to a monogamous relationship, these relationships are threatening to that intimacy of what's supposed to be, quote, a relationship. And again, going back to the labels, the raw material of the word relationship to one person is a different material to another person. While there might be certain aspects of it in the material, right? Let's say sexual exclusivity is something important, or emotional exclusivity or prioritization are important, then these become things that with language you can speak to, you can connect on, and there's a mutual understanding of that being the case. And this is where communication comes in, because some people think they're great communicators because they know they got a big vocabulary. But if you're talking to somebody that shows actions, like the way that they communicate is through actions, that words don't mean shit. So often I would my ex and I, we would get, go back and forth about, what it means to choose. I'm like, yo, choice, choice, choice. And she's like, no, I can't do anything else. This is me. This is like, I cannot choose. And that communicated two different things, because to me it's like, well, no, because this is the power of choice. Like, if I choose to do something, I can put my body where it needs to be and get into the mind state of the thing. And with routine, repetition, consistency, because this is what I've learned from sports, you can do the shit. Like, I went from a fucking losing in high school, in middle school, high school. I was very fortunate to be on winning ass teams. College, I was on a losing ass team. But you know what? It was a choice to stay there. It was a choice to keep practicing. It was a choice to get better. It was a choice to fight with my teammates, and to grow and develop and become a team that won our first ever fucking conference championship. You can't tell me shit about choice. You cannot tell me that, oh, I'm supposed to fucking wrap myself up in this identity as a loser. Get the fuck out of here. Ooh, there was some fire in that. I felt some fire and passion just saying that right now. But that's real. That's my experience. My experience, the raw material of the word choice to me, it means it means consistency. It means creativity. It means empowerment. It means to show up and do the thing. And that's not what it meant to her. And this was it was a big contention point in that case. And so in relationships, it's very important to not just know what a person's orientation is or how they relate or that they want a family, because that looks so different to everybody. I used to want 5 kids. I couldn't even tell you why I wanted 5 kids other than, well, I'm one of 5 and I want a big family. The fuck? I don't make enough money to take care of myself and another person. I think I keep saying this. I got my living expenses down to $1,500 a month, and I'm so happy for myself. I'm the happiest I ever been. I don't have to worry about shit. I do 100% of what I need to do: buy groceries, pay the utilities, pay my rent, and uh, get to where I need to go for work. And that's it. I don't do a lot of what I want to do. I do a lot of what I want to do. There's things that society probably says that I should be doing. I should have my own house. I should not have roommates. I should have a relationship that I'm in that's working towards the house and the family. I should have a car. I should have health insurance. I should have dental insurance, but I don't. I got a gym membership. I buy vitamins, and I walk a lot, And these are the things that I do. And these are things that make up the raw material of my identity. I practice yoga. I'm doing something that I'm passionate about that drives my fucking spirit. And when you're aligning your inner world, your outer world does begin to take form. And that raw material, the raw material of my choice, my consistency, my decision um, to focus on and commit to somebody, like these are things that took form in relationships as the person that was in the relationship. And in turn, my identity, it's almost like if you can picture a sphere, right? A sphere that's radiating, and the radiation of that sphere is calling things in. It's calling in the raw material, which are these little tiny dots of electrons. And you get sort of this, not a coloring book, but like the connect the dots. And this is where like star structures and shit begin to make sense, because you see those star structures, those dots, it's like stars in the sky that take the form of that person you're in a relationship with, that job role that you have, your routine. And that mirrors what your sphere is. Your sphere is essentially causing and creating a projection of that. The inner radiance is projecting around you all these dots that make up the structure of what your external world looks like. Well, this is me. I don't know why I'm saying you, your, like I know this shit, but it's just, it feels like I'm able to paint this picture so much more clearly the more that I talk, the more that I say things about it to people, the more that I communicate this and use this language. And the raw material that is fueled by the emotional intensity that we give it. I fucking loved everybody that I chose to be in a relationship with. I have not had a lot of relationships. And every relationship that I chose to be in, I fueled that shit. It was emotionally intense because that is how I do. Anybody I call friend, anytime I lose a friend, that investment, the emotional energy and intensity, like it hurts. It hurts to lose people. And my sphere, as a result of that loss, it seemingly loses that color. And the color isn't necessarily lost. The loss is more of an illusion, because again, energy cannot be created or destroyed. This is where I'm at. And the intensity, the emotional intensity, it develops and it expands and it explodes from within. And then the projection of that in the world around us, that's where these, the shells become a thing. The shell of a person, the shell that is their body, their personality, their influence over you. And now your sphere can begin to like take that color and, start to identify, okay, well, in this mode, the things that I give myself to that take form, right? Like I can think that I am what I need to be to complement that illusion. But the more that I just start to recognize I'm a fucking sphere that's just a little dot, a little fucking dot of light that is just vibrating and radiating. And my responsibility is to just hold that thing in place so as not to lose it in attachment to the identity of anything else. I ain't no fucking loser, and that's why my relationship didn't work. I ain't no victim. That's why other relationships didn't work out. I'm somebody who values choice. I'm someone who values willingness, and the willingness to engage in and challenge things to become liberated. Like the whole dance of life, this rhythm is about challenge and liberation. And I didn't have that in the majority of my relationships, or I didn't have enough of an understanding of what made up a lot of these things. So I'm agreeing to shit before I even know what it is. And I'm flexible enough to be able to, like, all right, well, shit, if we chose to do this, let's do it. But lately, who I've become is now a person that, has boundaries. I had to have a conversation with somebody, was this 2 days ago? And it made me a little bit sad because I also didn't feel understood. but I also recognize that everybody ain't gonna understand you. So I can communicate to the best of my ability. And I think this was another test from the universe too, because I felt misunderstood quite a few times. And as somebody who interviews people, I know how to get the understanding. Hey, I'm hearing you say this. Is that what you mean? But if people don't want to do that, you just gotta take it for what it is. And I'm done. I'm done doing that shit. I'm done with the, you know, trying to get people to be like me or see things like me. I'm gonna share my perspective, and if I'm gonna share it to the best of my ability. And if you want to be here, you want to be here, and if you don't, you don't. It's as simple as that. And someone that I was seeing casually, and I can say, casual in the sense of we have sex and we're friends. That was what the agreement was. um, she had told me, she was like, hey, I just, I had a moment in my travels where I recognized, like, I want to be more intentional in dating. So I'm dating for a monogamous relationship. So me and you can't have sex anymore. Perfectly fine, because that happened with us before, and she didn't communicate that to me. And when she came back, she was like, oh, actually, I was trying to make things work with my ex, and it didn't. I was like, oh, thanks for your honesty. Don't do that shit again. Perfect. We good. And then, I get this message and I just inquire. I'm like, okay, well, in friendship, right? Like, I value my friends. So I want to know if me and you, if I invest in this friendship, if me and you are exclusively friends, and let's say you find this man, like you find yourself in a relationship with somebody. If you get into that relationship and he doesn't like me as a person, or the fact that you have a guy friend, or that me and you have had sex before, then are you going to stop talking to me? And she was like, well, that depends on his insecurities. And at that point, it was, to me, it was like anything less than no, or some inquiry for further elaboration, that should have been it. Like, because ain't nobody finna come in, no new person is going to dictate how my old relationships look, or connections, friendships look. I think that's a really hard and firm boundary for me now, because I didn't have that before. So now that's what it is. There will be no new relationship that dictates how the old ones look. So timeline wise, I can go back and just look at that. If somebody don't like somebody, I'm gonna ask questions. Well, what is it? What you think? What do you see? What do you know? What like, help me, because I got blind spots. And had I kept my female friends around me and not done that, where my new relationship had me removing people from my life who would have been able to catch certain things and would have been able to call out, hey, I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's like, this is a red flag. So I ain't doing it no more. I'm not setting myself up to be in any kind of an abusive relationship, emotionally abusive, mentally, physically, none of that shit. And one thing that I'm grateful for, despite the like ups and downs of the consistency of what the messaging was, is boundaries. Like, I understand them now, because that was me setting a boundary. That was me respecting myself. And before, I can't say that I had that. So that the ending of my relationship, my most recent relationship, has given me like real time examples of what it means to respect myself. Because I was nice, and that was one thing that she said, you too nice, you too nice. And I didn't think that is a bad thing. I never thought of being nice as a bad thing. And then I started to listen to No More Mr. Nice Guy again, which I've listened to so many fucking times. And I think that I've created an identity as a nice guy. That whole, sphere thing of, I forgot that. I forgot that I am an atom. I'm a fucking low particle of light that happened to get some consciousness, and with that awareness of it, like, I can shift in and out of what uh, the material world looks like to me, or what my experiences are with it, in it, navigating it, all that shit. And it's easy to get caught up. It's easy to get caught up in form. I got caught up in my identity, the label as a boyfriend, to the point where I did neglect and forget that that Bible verse, Psalm something, be still and know that I am God. And the thing about it too is that we live in a world that is so full of motion. Like everything's moving, everything's go, go, go. You always got to be here, be there, do this, do that. And there's not a lot of time for stillness and reflection. And in the stillness and reflection that I've been, creating for myself intentionally lately has produced to me the raw material of what makes up these identifications, what makes up these labels, what makes up the things that we can subscribe to or choose to subscribe to, and then not. My mantra is attach, do nothing, release, do nothing. And that's what this rhythm is, the pulsing of what my light particle, what all light particles do. There's a pulsing, and in the pulsing, like maybe even I might even be creating labels when I say attach, do nothing, release, do nothing. But whatever it is, there's a balance of coming back to center, coming back to the do nothing, because the do nothing is so fucking critical. Because all raw material comes from nothing. And if we get as close as we can to source, to the source, what we find is for that to be the case. Like that nothing, the do nothing, no action, the stillness created, that's the wave of consistency, the wave of uh, knowing self and what is and isn't working, and where identity is attached, and remaining close to your source, your atom. I believe that that's where the consistency of the things taking form around us align, because the energy is naturally given intensity. It's all there. Like we are this shit. We don't make it up. It doesn't make us up. Like we are collectively this in this fucking sphere of what is the universe, galaxy, whatever fucking, whatever the fuck. I didn't mean to say that. That is all. And since living in this way, life been good. Life been good. And I love this shit. Now the only thing I need to work on now, I do need to work on like more pursuits of what I want, and that's been challenging for me. Cause like now, all right, cool, I got this language, but it's very difficult for me to communicate like who I am. I remember I met somebody and we hit it off like out the gate, intense as fuck, because I was talking this quantum physics shit. She was like, "Oh yeah, because da 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 da, how manifestation works." I was like, girl, girl." And we just ain't been able to make things happen. I'm also like, I'm in work mode from now until like February. Um, anyway, so the existing relationships that I have, I think that these are the ones that are going to get the bulk of my focus and attention, because I don't want to I don't want to take anything from who's there, who's been there, and what I've already like accumulated. And even that can probably be a form of attachment. But again, there's the awareness, the consistency of understanding that I am that little dot, that sphere that is experiencing, everything around me and whatever this illusion is. And yeah, I'm doing what I can. I'm doing what I can to also take that contribution into the world, and focus on the stillness and let my actions um, my actions be aligned between like my inner world and my outer world. The minute an attachment, the minute an identity or a form, doesn't align anymore, do nothing. Just observe that form, and you'll watch it dissipate. You'll watch the shell, you'll watch the people just exit, and when they exit, that raw material that made up the space that they occupied is still there. And now it is able to take new form. And the taking of new form is really what people talk about manifestation is. Give your energy, attention, awareness, time, money, your power of your choice, the emotional intensity. Give that shit to the raw material and just observe how it takes form. That's it. All right, I'm at the gym now, and I walked around and did a little detour so I could finish this. I get to test out this new microphone, and again, just keep practicing using this atomic language because it's shit. That's how I'm living. This is how I'm living. So, if you're listening to this and you got something out of it, please hit me up. Like, let me know. Let me know if this is something that you like resonate with. I think one of my podcasts on here got 7 listens. I was like, damn, who are y'all? Who are these 7 people listening to me just talk shit and ramble? All right. That concludes this episode of Self. Thank you. How do I? Oh, I forgot I put my phone in my pocket. I hope this thing been recording the whole time. I know this microphone new, so I don't even know if it's been recording. Did it? Oh, it has been 35 minutes. Tight.